understand, but the biggest headache here is where do we draw the line between I feel unsafe and maybe perhaps from the reports that we get from police officers or security agencies, I feel it is not safe for me to go and report what I am going through. I prefer going into hiding, taking a few days to to quell down the temperature, then I'll come out and I'll say where I was. So it is, where do we draw that line when it comes to the law? Because as Ndu said, most of these people, even Ndiangau said, I had not said that I was abducted. I opted to go, not to go missing, but I opted to not to be away. I just opted to be away for my own safety because one, maybe I cannot trust the security agencies. So where do we draw the line when it comes to?
There is no offense in locking yourself in your bedroom.
So if Tuju did the same, what could be the problem?
Even for 1 month. But you realize that I mentioned that this is an evidentiary issue. So we need to look at the evidence and the circumstances surrounding the event. Okay? And as I mentioned, I am not passing judgment. I am waiting for the evidence to be placed in court if it will end up in court. The questions that arise is that, did Honorable Tuju make a report to the police that he was being followed by a white car? Yes, he did. Was Honorable Tuju's vehicle found along, the road? Yes. Did Honorable Tuju, and not only Honorable Tuju, but also his aide, Steve Mwanga, switch off their phones? Yes, they did. Where were these phones switched off? Okay. DCI say they were switched off in his bedroom.
And they can tell. They can tell when it's off, where it, and the location of where it's turned off, right? Okay.
Definitely. They can tell. I think we have that technology. Then the next question is, what was the motive? If the motive was just to, relax, okay, then no one would hold them accountable. However, if the motive was to lie, if the motive was to cause panic deliberately, then I think that there is an offense.
How can you prove motive?
Motive circumstances. For instance, this year I have raised, and this I hope will be, canvassed in court. I've raised the issue that apart from Honorable Tuju switching off his phone, the family then made a report. And I'm assuming the family members were from the same residence. Made a report that Honorable Tuju is lost. Well, when the DCI attempted to piece together the evidence of the last moments of Honorable Tuju, they traced it to his house. And they tried to access his house, but they were denied. And they were denied, I think, access for more than 12 hours. And then when Honorable Tuju finally appeared, he did not appear in Kiambu. He appeared from his house and addressed the media there. So the question is, did they deliberately lie to the nation? Did they deliberately lie to the police? Was it a fraudulent report? Okay, so the critical issue here that would determine whether the Honorable Tuju, his family members, and his political, colleagues and friends are culpable is whether there was fraud. Did they deliberately lie to achieve a certain objective, which was not a legitimate objective, and an objective that was prejudicial to national security? When Honorable Ouko disappeared, the following day there were riots in Kisumu and Nairobi. You get my point? Yes. And it ended up in several other deaths and several and destruction of property. Okay, so a disappearance of an MP, a disappearance of a former minister, especially under the circumstances of the politics that surrounded Honorable Tuju for about 1 week, would definitely send the country into panic. Yeah.
There is an increase in cases of